Great day everybody, welcome to Skill Up Dimension. Today we got here another Valorant tutorial, and in today's video I would like to show you Cypher default setups for map Fracture that are being used by one of the best Cypher players in the world, Gambit Nuts. So let's go for it. Okay, so first of all let's start on the attacking side. At the start of the round, Nuts usually uses 4 different kind of traps. One for this attacker side of the map and one for this one. So one of the traps that Nuts is using usually is here. Simply use trap like this at the start of the round on this place, or if not this one, he's also using very often this one on the opposite side, left to this like terminal. So for this side of the spawn, he's using one of those 2 traps, and on the second side there is always one trap here. So as I told already, Nuts is using these traps at the start of the round, so one here at this side and one of those 2 at the second side, and then let's say that they are attacking a side. Nuts is almost every round going through the dish. He's not going through the main, the rest of the team is actually going through the main, but Nuts and one of the teammates are going from the dish. So in this case that he's going through the dish, he's throwing one cage like here, and then he's turning it on. He going into the cage and putting one camera here. Thanks this camera he can check if anybody is pushing through there, if anybody is actually going behind the satellite or anything else. So thanks this camera he can check the situation. If nobody is there, they can push it easily, and if somebody is there he can easily call it thanks the camera, or if the camera is destroyed also he knows that somebody is hiding here. So in the fast paced round started, he's just going in, camera, checking, giving info and pushing nextly towards the side. In case that he sees that camera is being destroyed immediately after he just put it there, that means opponents already know that this is his default tactic. In this case he's dropping cage in there, but he's dropping camera more like to this wall and checking behind the satellite again. Of course he's not like checking it for a long time, because as you could see the cage is just disappearing, so he just check it, give info and play by what he saw. As he's coming up to the drop here, he can use multiple things. For example, when there are players anywhere around, he can use this kind of cage to at least drop to the below, and in the case he didn't use the cage before, he can use one more there to actually could go safely towards the side. The same he can use on the second side actually, so if he would like to go towards the main, he can drop one cage here and then one here, so he can go safely towards the city without being noticed. Sometimes when they are playing post plant and he still have at least one trap that he didn't use it at the start of the round, he's using it like this towards this box, so nobody from the ropes or city can cross towards the side. Also remember that his cameras are not stable. That means when he put here, for example, camera at the start of the round, that doesn't mean that there should be camera till the end of the game. Sometimes he's keeping it there so he can surprise the opponents at the end of the round, that he will still check satellite and he can actually find somebody is flanking around. But sometimes he can even take the camera, and then when they are trying to take the side or just playing the retake, he can use camera for this position, for example, to check city and ropes again, or sometimes he is using this position as well. And of course, if he still have one more cage and for example the team already took the side, he can use his cage towards the rope if he knows that there are any players, and then play safely from the drop. As I said already, Nuts in majority cases are going through the dish towards the A side, but in some cases, for example Eco or Force, he can push together with his team. In this case, of course, again he puts one of those traps and he's pushing together. In case they are already in the main, he's often using this kind of camera to just check behind the corner or if anybody is pushing from the side, but sometimes he's even using this kind of camera here on this position. Thanks what? He can shoot towards those doors and open them. That can very often confuse opponents what is happening, and sometimes they may even think that somebody already pushed through those doors even nobody did. In case he is pushing the doors, he is often using this kind of cage towards the rope, and thanks this nobody can surprise him from this position. But as I said, he is not using this way much. Almost always when he is pushing towards the A, he is going through the dish and the drop. When he is pushing towards the B, he is mostly going through this side as well. He is not going through the tree and through the main. He is going more like through the bench, arcade and so on. So as I said already, he's putting here one trap right towards this like wall at the start of the round. Of course, he set his traps again, as I already showed you, and then when round started, he drops one cage towards here. Mostly he's using this kind of trick that he's aiming to this corner and just dropping the cage, launching the cage and dropping camera on the display. Thanks this he can check if anybody is peeking from the heaven, if anybody is close corner or close towards the wall. If nobody is there, again he can take the camera or keep it there, and then depends on where Nuts wants to go. If he wants to go towards the side, he's dropping this kind of cage. So in combination with the one previously dropped, it looks like this. He dropped one, checking the corners, going straight, dropping this cage and going safely towards the side without being noticed, or at least he can surprise player if anybody is hiding behind arcade or at the tower. In case he wants to go towards the tower, so he has cage there and he drops one more there to actually block the vision from the side, and then he can go safely behind arcade and towards the tower. Of course, in case they want to push towards the side together with team, he can use his cage to actually block vision at the tower and they can go safely towards the side. In case there is post-plant situation, he often uses this kind of camera above those boxes. So he's staying safely there, waiting for the retake and just watching all of the angles with the camera. Okay, and as I said already, he is attacking from majority cases from the attacker side breach. That means that he's going through the dish towards the A and through the bench and arcade towards the B. In case he's going through the tree and main, he often uses this kind of cam to just check the situation at the start of the round, or for example when he's trying to flank, to wait, to hide behind those boxes and so on. So he's just spectating what is happening on the A main. But again, as I said, he is going through main and tree only in cases of some eco, force or in some special situation. Mostly he's going through this side of the map. Okay, next let's talk about Nuts' default setup on side A for defense. So in this case, in majority cases he's using this trap here at the drop and then one cage here at the drop as well. So not at the edge, to actually one of the opponent could drop below and then when cage just disappears he have to watch where he can be, but more like deeper cage at the drop, as you can see, like this. So this is his default setup for the drop: one cage and one trap. And then the rest of the setup is mostly situational. That means that every round you can expect different plays. He usually switches between the passive and active plays to actually confuse his opponents. That means that in some rounds you can see him push towards the main with camera like this and watch what is happening there. And in some cases you can see him with camera like this and just staying passively at the side. During the defense on A side, he usually uses two traps and one cage. So if he didn't use the cage for the drop, he usually uses one one-way cage for the main, and it's like this. So you come here towards the corner and then you will aim here to the like corner of this, whatever it is, as you can see, the corner. So we will aim towards the corner and just drop the cage, voila. And as you can see, perfect one-way cage. So when they are staying close, you can see their foot and they cannot see you. So as I said already, he's using one cage at the start of the A defense. That means one here, or he can use even his cages here at the rope, and one cage he is keeping for the later round or for the retake on the side B. About the traps, I said you already that he's using one here at the drop, but he's using also one default here for the main, or in case that he's not playing main but he's playing more like rope, he's using one here towards the ropes, and in this case he's using camera for ropes as well, so he's using or the normal camera above the entrance, thanks what he can check if anybody crossed or anybody is at the top of the rope, or he's using this kind of default camera at the side as well. Depends on the place, but doesn't really matter which of those cameras he's choosing. Sometimes he's just putting the camera there and then staying passively at the top of the rope, and sometimes he is simply decided that he don't want to play passive, so he's not using this trap, he's just simply going through the doors, putting camera offensively above the orb and one trap here right to him, so actually nobody can cross from the spawn. In this case he can check the push through the main easily. And of course if he sees anybody he can try to pick, kill him, or even uses his cages to go and kill somebody. Also remember that when Nuts has eco or force, even he is buying all of his utilities, he doesn't use them normally in the round, only when there is quite high chance that they could help him to win this specific round. And also remember that Nuts is not always using his utility only to go safely towards the side or to block the vision of the opponents, but he's often using his utility for the closing the distance and using ulti as well. So let's say that I killed somebody here on the corner and I know that many more may come. That means I will drop cage here, I will go towards the cage and use ulti, so actually I can use ulti safely and opponents doesn't know that I'm here and I can already seize them thanks my ultimate. That means remember that cages may be used in multiple ways. Also be aware that Nuts is not always defending the side to like protect it with his body. That means when he's at the drop and he's playing passively around his cage or around the satellite, in case that opponents already pushed towards the side and planted the bomb, he rather will wait for his teammates to retake together than push solo and simply die. In this case he can easily use the one cage that he has for the block in the main view and using for example this kind of camera to check if anybody is staying at the top stairs, bottom default, or in the corner under the side. Okay, so this was default setup for side A. As I showed you, he's using in majority cases this trap and one more depending on the situation that happening. He can also use for example this one default, this one for the ropes, or any other, always depends, every round is different. And of course he also can use his cages and cameras by the situation as well. Okay, so that was a default setup and now let's go towards the B. Okay, when Nuts is defending B side, in majority cases his default setup consists of this one trap, one cage, which are basically the default ones, and then the second trap and cage are changing every round. So next traps and cages depends on the situation and what kind of plays he decided to play. For example, in majority of cases he's using this trap towards the tower. Sometimes he's even using the cage towards the tower, but not very often. Much more often he's using the cage like here towards the stairs, so if anybody is pushing from the tower he can launch the cage easily. Also be aware that he is using this default trap on the side or the trap towards the arcade with cage as well. So in the end depends which play you decided to do and where you decided to stay, and based on this you should simply put your traps to cover you from every possible side and two opponents could not flank you from any of the direction. The camera that Nuts is using in majority cases is here above this box, that means like here, thanks what he can easily see towards the arcade, towards the main, or what is happening around here. Also remember that Nuts is changing his position every round, that means in some round he can be hidden here at the side and from here watching all of those positions. In some cases he can be hidden in the tower, sometimes here behind the boxes, and sometimes he can be even hidden here in the canteen and from here play towards the retake. Okay, and the alternative camera that he's using is here, so he's coming toward the edge of this box as much as you can, and then you will aim towards this tree and jump land the camera. And voila, thanks this you can see if anybody is pushing towards the tower and also you can see towards the main, towards the side from quite an angle. That means even if there would be like Viper wall or Phoenix wall or any smokes, you can see above them and for example tag the opponents when they will push towards the side. Also be aware that sometimes Nut is using this kind of cam towards these arcade, thanks what he can peek towards the arcade players even without even peek. Voila, pretty nice cam. Okay, so as I showed you already, the main trap and cage is here towards the main. He's not using this setup only during the eco or force or when he's actually pushing towards the main together with his team, thanks this camera that is thrown there, and he can easily tag the opponent or tell the info towards his teammate. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is all for this video. Really hope you found here what you came here for. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like button. If you want to know about every new video, hit the subscribe and click on bell as well to be notified every time new video is online. You can also follow us on our socials, or for monthly fee by your choice, you can become member of Skiller Squad, what will support this channel in a huge way, and you will receive multiple perks as special loyalty badges, access to special members only community posts, and all of the members will be thanked to at the end of every new video. Okay, but now it's really all. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, and see ya at the next video. Goodbye.